More and more people, especially women, are being labeled with thyroid disease. Today we welcome Dr. Ernst from Consultation Health to tell us why thyroid disease is on the rise. And I want to go ahead and start right here because what is the anatomy of the thyroid? Where is it located and why is that so important?
Yeah, so it's a real tiny gland and it sits just at the base of the neck, sort of right at the Adam's apple area. But that little tiny gland controls hundreds of metabolic processes inside of our body. Everything from our energy to our ability to stay focused to our weight, even other hormones that control other hormones. So it's kind of like the master organ of our hormone system.
Why does that thyroid, why does it get imbalanced and what happens when it does?
Yeah, so what we're starting to see today is the thyroid is an organ that tends to absorb toxins, specifically heavy metals and pesticides, even things like chlorine, which we find in our water, fluorine, etc. So the gland itself is becoming more under attack today because we live in a society that has more chemical and more toxins that affect hormone function. So it goes right after the thyroid.
So I'm about to ask that question. So why is that so important that I should be concerned about this imbalance? Typically when I think of thyroid and the things that have been in my family, I think of the bulgy eyes, I think of all the stuff that's been going on. Why is that so important?
So so that is a type of thyroid condition. So that would be like a hyperthyroid. So this is where it gets tricky. If the thyroid stops working, then it's either going to go deficient, hypothyroid, or it goes overactive, hyperthyroid. What you're describing, bulging eyes, sort of shaking hands, that's the hyperthyroid response, Graves' disease as they call it. A little less common, believe it or not. The most common is actually a deficiency in the thyroid hormones, hypothyroid, and in that subset, the most common is called Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease where the body actually attacks the production of the thyroid hormones and the thyroid tissue itself.
So it's like a diet and the things that we do, can that help mitigate us getting the thyroid disease?
Absolutely, because again, first of all, the thyroid is very sensitive to the metals that we eat. And you might say, what kind of metal am I eating? Well, a lot of cereals are fortified with metals, iron. We have chlorine in our bleach that we use in our clothing, and also we drink chlorinated water. Fluorine has been found to be a big issue, which is in a lot of toothpaste and tooth care products. Also pesticides and things that we find in our foods. So if we were to live a more organic, non-toxic, non-metal life, our thyroids will survive, but yet still, interestingly enough, that disease is on the rise today. And I think it has to do with the fact that we're taking the wrong approach. We're not actually looking at the cause, and in reality, it's not actually the thyroid that's the problem.
So what else should we know about the thyroid?
Yeah, so here's what you really need to know. Your thyroid is controlled by three primary things: nerve tissues out of your neck, your gut of all things, and how the conversion of the hormone takes place in the liver. So here's where this gets crazy. You might actually have a perfectly functioning thyroid, but if your liver is congested or toxic, you can't convert the hormone properly, or you convert it excessively and we get this hyper response. You could also have a leaky gut or a dysbiosis, and again, you can't convert it properly, or you convert it excessively. And then almost always what we see is there's nerve interference. The thyroid's controlled by the 6th and 7th cervical nerves. So if you've had a whiplash, you have a crick in your neck, it's possible that you're just not getting enough energy to the thyroid, or you're getting too much energy. So again, it's all about being in balance. Is it hyper or is it hypo? 90% of the time it's hypo, and 90% of the time that's an autoimmune condition.
Well, for our viewers who may be having some thyroid issues, Dr. Ernst is having a free consultation. What can they expect and how can they get in touch with you, sir?
Yeah, so because this is very specific, when we're talking about thyroid, we have to look at individual hormones. We have to look at blood reports. So what I'm offering is this, a free 15-minute consultation. If you're currently taking a thyroid medication, or you know your thyroid numbers, you've had a recent test, let's see if we can help you to become your own healer for this. Remember, the majority of the time, it's not the thyroid that's the problem, it's the conversion, it's the neurology, or it's the gut. So the free consult is available to you. It's 15 minutes, and all you have to do is call 704-837-2818, and my team will schedule the call directly with you. And again, there's no cost.
Dr. Ernst, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you.